Hello and welcome to today's session. As always, I'm your host, Kevin Grote, staff engineer here at VMware. And today we got a session all about virtual SAN. We're going to be talking with Steve STUOMEY, specialist inside of the storage BU here at VMware. And he's going to be walking us through an overview of hyper-converged infrastructure and where VSAN fits inside of this space. Steve's also done a few other pieces of content for us that we're going to make available here very soon, specifically around things like hyper-converged infrastructure cost modeling. I think we have an introduction to VxRail, and we also have some information on the current state of architecture for virtual SAN between the hybrid and all flash, and he's going to be going through that for us as well. So be sure to subscribe, check out the other videos, follow me on Twitter, and we'll be sure to have lots of other updates, especially with everything coming out of VMworld. So let's check out this video from Steve covering an overview of virtual SAN and hyper-converged infrastructure and how to get started with this great technology inside of your own data center.
Well, thank you very much, and welcome everyone. And again, we're going to be covering today VMware's hyper-converged software, and specifically we're going into a little bit of a deep dive around virtual SAN version 6.2 as well. So again, welcome. So why hyper-converged?
Join the conference.
Why are people really looking at hyper-converged? And the problem today is people are still accepting what we're considering now a legacy infrastructure. So when you look at the silos, when you look at the left-hand side, it's really, really indicative of our current IT. We have silos for storage. We have silos for networking. We have silos for legacy Unix, and if you have P-Series or mainframe, stuff like that. And then we have silos for Windows.
Join the conference.
Silo. So the promise of hyper-converged is as you move forward, we're moving into a 60%. And I love this slide because it's 60% up and 60% down. We're going to increase your efficiency. We're going to increase the consolidation rates. Because again, you're getting into x86 where you're combining all of your memory, you're combining your CPU, you're combining your storage. We're going to decrease that management because VMware specifically has a central management tool, one tool that lets you manage everything. And we're going to cut down your space and power utilization tremendously as well. So again, tremendously simple, tremendously efficient, radically changing the way IT is being run today. That's why hyper-converged is really making a deal, why it's being so disruptive in the IT community. So in VMware, I'm going to level set a little bit here. When VMware talks about hyper-converged software, what we're really talking about is step number one. Step number one is centralized management. We have compute, and then we have storage. That is hyper-converged software to us. That's hyper-converged software to the business. And for VMware specifically, we're talking Virtual Center, we're talking our ESXi hypervisor, and we're talking our virtual SAN storage technology. By implementing hyper-converged software, we immediately allow the customer to grow from hyper-converged all the way into a fully defined, software-defined data center where we have virtualized networking, our NSX product. We have our end-user virtual desktops, end-user
joined the conference
with Horizon and Workspace ONE. And then we have our complete management suite that gives you a single pane of glass with vRealize Operations, gives you cost analysis with vRealize Business, and does actually allow you to get complete visibility into your physical infrastructure with our Log Insight product, which actually goes out and pulls all of your SAN structure, your SAN storage, your SAN switches, your network switches, and allows you to pull all of that data into our operations software so you can get a complete health of your environment. And of course, all of this is built on industry
join the conference.
x86 converged compute memory, and now bringing in with virtual SAN that storage component. So far, any questions with what hyper-converged software means to VMware or what it means out there in the marketplace? Very good. So why VMware? And again, VMware makes it simple. It's radically simple storage, radically simple infrastructure because it's all built on generic x86. It's one integrated stack. Everything is thrown together. Everything is hooked together to provide a simple interface. We get the highest performance. My background, as was alluded to by Greg, is I've got about 17 years doing enterprise-level storage in the marketplace. And when I learned of VSAN, when I started working with the VSAN team, actually before 5.5 was released, the performance metrics that we saw, that we were seeing as we scaled up the nodes, as we scaled up the clusters, was absolutely astounding. No other product that I've seen actually scales as well. And it's also the lowest cost. We're transforming your costs from a SAN-based world into that server-based platform, so that now you're buying disks from HP for a server as opposed to a storage array. And it's extremely flexible. Again, because this is built on commodity x86 hardware, you have the build-your-own philosophy. You can have existing hardware, Generation 8 servers, for instance, or Generation 12 or 11 servers from Dell, and you can utilize the virtual SAN compatibility matrix to build your own. Make sure the parts are on the list, and you're good to go. We have a huge partner ecosystem with our VSAN Ready Node partners. Pretty much every
joined the conference.
And then we do have the engineered appliances for customers that want to go one step further, that don't want to handle the hardware maintenance, they don't want to handle the ESX maintenance itself. VxRail actually has the solution where you can literally put a system in place, they'll configure it for you, you can utilize it, they can do maintenance, they can do upgrades. So it's a tremendous black box solution for our customers as well. I like this slide. When I started here about 1.5 years ago, about half of these were grayed out because Virtual SAN 5.5 was the predominant Virtual SAN out there. What I can tell you today is probably about half of my customers are actually running 6.1, and another 20 or 30% are now running 6.2. They've actually done the upgrade already. And every single one of these, in my direct area in Central Virginia, I have customers using SAP, I have customers using Oracle, SQL Server with high transactions, Exchange Server. All of your business critical applications are on Virtual SAN. Virtual desktops, end user computing is a natural. As you scale up users, you scale in nodes. So very, very logical expansion, very easy to understand and cost analyze for. DR, disaster avoidance, very large. Again, that's one of our original use cases. Staging, robo, great for your smaller customers that have lots of sites with little virtual machines in each site. So again, tremendous influx of customers utilizing VSAN, using our Hyper-Converged storage system. In fact, we are by far the largest Hyper-Converged provider in the marketplace today. In fact, as of last quarter, I believe we were larger than all of the others combined. So VMware is significantly in this marketplace. We are the #1 provider. We are the best provider. We are providing the best performance and the best feature set now of all of the providers that are out there. So again, tremendous technology, all focused on customer adoption, all focused on getting the customer and getting their IT shops to visualize an architecture that's going to save them time, save them money, save them manpower.